Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It was an interesting little break there. We saw the draft, had a little snoozer, and now we come back to an AP remake starting right on the dot. And hopefully everybody can load in here without too much trouble. Or is that just, I guess that's just us waiting on the old countdown. Regardless, I'm Zayori, joined once again by Blaze. We've already talked about the draft, and we'll be able to hop right into the game in just a moment's notice. But Blaze, how are you, sir? It hasn't been too long since we last chatted, but anything changed in the last 15 minutes?
Not too much, just same old, same old. Got an extra drink, another little bit of munchies, but otherwise pretty good to go. I'm actually interested to see how Invasion and IAP spent their break. If they got to look over the draft a little bit more and kind of think about the lanes more extensively, the starting items, stuff like that. Like, obviously, we always see this little pause at the beginning of mini Dota games, especially SEA ones, where you start out 30 seconds, kind of figure that stuff out, but they've had 15 minutes, and that definitely shapes up a little bit of how the laning phase is going to be approached. I'm interested to see how it plays out.
Yeah, myself included in that. And just to follow up on the bets, as we were talking about it before, basically they did just close the bets earlier than usual as soon as the draft came out. So that is the way of it. There is a bet. I'm just a derp wagon and forgot that IAP and Execration are the exact same team. And right now the bets are 51-49. So another essentially coin flip matchup here with Execration, a.k.a. IAP on our dire side. A very, very minor advantage. So that is the follow-up to that little discussion we had right before the break. Let's take a look at these lanes. It will be Razor up in the top lane for now. IAP with a bit of a jungle invade. It looks like Dragonite, played by Jay, will be headed to the mid lane, and it will indeed be an aggro try. Kimo on the Jakiro here, Emma Stone on the Sand King, and of course Fox on the position 1 Viper.
Yeah, check out the positioning from Invasion, though. I mean, looking over in the tree line on the northwest here, we have ADTR and OK trying to find kind of a flank to gank opportunity here. And with a gigantic shackle duration of 2.75 seconds, doing some damage and allowing the Trench to just wail on a single target, following that up with a Leech Seed should be a no-brainer for a First Blood. So we'll see if they end up falling for it. Right now, there is a Dire Observer ward up, but it did not see the supports roaming into that region.
Yep, and they'll be joined by the Doombringer, played by Ghost, who will be slated for the offlanes. I reckon these supports will rotate around a little bit, just looking to get Doom a little early edge here before they abandon this lane. It will be Ketchik Imba in the mid lane on the Death Prophet, and that leaves us with FZ solo safe lane for now, but he'll be up against this aggro try, and that means his life will be tricky until his supports can rotate back down. Good positioning from the Razor here. He is playing this very cautiously, staying in the tree line, recognizing that trickery could be afoot. There are a lot of heroes still missing off the map, and he will go to the pole camp right away. And now these supports have to decide, how long do they want to wait around to potentially gank this Razor and leave their Ember Spirit supportless in the bottom lane?
Yeah, difficult to be kind of a suicide Ember Spirit 1 versus 3. In this position, you'll certainly survive, but you're not going to get anything out of the lane. And this early timing for Fox to gain a little bit of CS and maybe get boots up a little bit earlier is going to give huge potential for them to win out the try versus try. In the meantime, yeah, we see the Treant as well as the Shadow Shaman didn't really get anything up top. Even the Doom is making his way now to the jungle. He found level 2, looking to consume, finds a bunch of mud golems, and settles on the Centaur. So in this position, they really didn't accomplish too much in the top lane. I love the attempt, but in the end, it looks like Yu is just a little bit too experienced against that. Maybe they've done it to him before. In either case, 4694 AKU will be perfectly fine up there. Now flank to gank on the mid, though.
Yeah, they will do a smoke rotation, and Mr. Trollolo here in kind of an awkward position. The Leech Seed comes out, and this should be enough for a First Blood. OK's there with the Shackles, and that'll do it. Ketchik Imba on the DP. We'll do it with a Stray Crypt Swarm.
Yeah, we do see Emma Stone actually closing in onto the Treant Protector. He only has 230 some odd HP, but 10 going up and having the boots to level out that movement speed. It's going to be perfectly fine for him to just walk away. In this position, though, Ember is still getting nothing. FZFC, for this full 2-minute period, hasn't gotten a single CS. Has gotten some decent solo experience, but not perfect. And in general, this is not how they wanted the game to start. Once the Death Ball starts, it's going to be harder and harder for Ember to find places to farm. And right now, FZFC is getting absolutely nothing. So they either need to get another kill on the table, or they need to give him some support. But he actually might take a spell right now.
Yeah, there's the Burrow Strike off from the side. Searing Chains connect on 2 of the heroes, but it's just too much slow between the Poison attacks and the Liquid Fire, both only level 1, but nowhere for the Ember Spirit to go. No boots on him, so there will be no escape to be made. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Razor gets caught inside of the Shackles. Doom chopping him down, the Scorched Earth means Razor won't be able to get away. Boots first on the Doom, proves successful as they get another one up on the scoreboard. That will make it 2-1 as kills come out on the side lanes in pretty much simultaneous fashion. It will break down into a 2-1-2 for Invasion as Ember Spirit rejoins the bottom, and he will be joined by his buddy Treant Protector.
Yeah, it really just depends how much that first blood gank really paid off for the Death Prophet. If she'll be able to dominate the lane as you would hope Ketchugimba to do, or if Jay's going to be able to just bounce back with some massive bottle crowing. There's going to be the kill on the Shadow Shaman from 4694, was able to kind of go 1 versus 2 there, and now will be in retreat and tangoing up.
Yeah, a nice easy kill for him, and finds a little bit of vengeance after he took a tumble just moments ago. In the mid lane, seems to be a fairly even exchange. Ketchugimba is getting the better of it. Of course, DK taking a tumble did slow him down, but only trailing by 5 CS. The 7 denies on DP do, well, tip the scales a little bit, but all things considered, Dragon Knight is doing pretty well given that he was picked off once already. In the top lane, Doom getting aggressive again on this Razor. Phase Boots up on Ghost, just Brown Boots on the Razor, and he'll get yet another kill. TP support from the Sand King. Doesn't have the mana for the Burrow Strike, though. Oh, no, Emma Stone. It's a totally wasted TP.
Yeah, if you need 185 for that combo or close to it, and he was definitely not close. Man, that would have been a guaranteed kill if he hit the Burrow Strike. The Living Armor would have been knocked off by the creeps quickly. It's going to be ADTR to snipe up an Invis Rune to DK looking to Bottle Crow again as he does miss out on the refill. But yeah, this Doom is getting active. The Death Prophet is getting a bit of an edge there as well. Ketchugimba getting the Phase Boots now en route, but it's not going to mean any critical damage unless they actually get some kills down bottom.
And maybe they'll be able to do it. Treant is still invisible, throws out the Leech Seed onto Fox. They do have a 3v2 right now, but the dual breath is there from Chikiro. That will buy him a little time. Fox eats through the trees. ADTR is there to block it. The big tree will completely lock him in. Nicely done by ADTR. And that will yield a kill. FCFZ gets credit for that one, and he finds some much-needed recovery there. 0 creep kills, but does have a hero kill.
Yeah, that's pretty huge. Able to last set that and kind of bring himself back a little bit here is going to be of great potential and great help for him trying to get back on his feet. Right now, he is still far behind any Ember Spirit should be, but it's 2 IAP's potential, obviously going for the aggro try. He's going to see Jay take a few hits from the Death Prophet. Her Crypt Swarm really hurts right now, and it's pretty cost efficient as well. So Jay is just going to play as passive as can be, at least until level 6, when he at least has the range stun instead of pretty much a melee range. I think it's like 100 units away, so essentially melee range, and that's not going to be easy to close in on a Death Prophet at any point in time.
Yeah, and now this mid lane has really grown in terms of the gap. DP is a full level up on the Dragon Knight, 36 CS compared to the 24, but now 12-0 in total denies. So Ketchuk is getting the better of it, and you can see that very clearly on the experience. Let's just take a look at the graphs here, and it's actually pretty evened out. We see it jumping all over the place as there have been a lot of kills coming about in the various lanes, but a very minor lead for Team Invasion. And once FCFC finds some recovery and starts getting some CS under his belt, I'm sure that gap will grow even more. Still only 3 last hits for him, but at least has some brown boots and now just about to hit level 5. So he is starting to recover, but it is a slow journey. Ketchuk will find a 6-minute rune. It is a double damage that he puts into the bottle, and maybe looking to take a fight or just pressure a tower. He did grab that early Exorcism. We've seen a lot of DPs recently grab the Exorcism at level 8 or level 9 after they've had the time to put a few extra points in Witchcraft. We've even seen some Death Prophets skip that 4th point in Crypt Swarm right away for that extra bout of Witchcraft. We'll hold that thought as down bottom. Jakiro gets caught inside the Searing Chain. Shackle is there, and they will be able to bring him down. Yep, they certainly will. Emma Stone presses forward with a Burrow Strike, but Ketchuk is here and will be able to help turn things around. They finish off the Sand King. It's a 1-for-1, but a double damage rune up on the DP. Will try to chase down the Viper. May be able to secure this kill, but nope, that corrosive skin coming in handy. And the Crypt Swarm pretty much just tickles.
Yeah, the attack speed level was just barely enough that Ketchugimba thought he had that one double damage auto attack, had to cancel it for the Crypt Swarm, and yeah, it will be the Fox to survive. Pulling back the creep wave even might keep this tower alive, but it's going to be hard pressed. The double damage rune, the Exorcism pounding away at it, and yeah, it looks to be falling quite rapidly. So in the meantime, they're going to try to go for a bit of a trade. The Corrosive Breath taking away the Liquid Fire as well, helping out this tier 1 trade, and in the end, IAP do get some tower kill.
Yeah, Dragons laying into the tower. It will be a 1-for-1, so good news for the Dire side, I think, especially given they're down 4 hero kills. They do ping out the tier 2 tower, and by they I mean the DK. And he will press forward, maybe throw a couple of corrosive dots on it, and tick it down, but I don't think he'll be able to do too much in the way of pushing, and with that, he will actually rotate up top. It does ping. They do ping the rotation. Smoke from Ghost and OK. But maybe they can grab the Dragonite. There is a Doom available, also a Hoof Stomp. And OK is here, only level 4. Doom looking to be aggressive, though. Finds a Doom ultimate onto Emma Stone. And that should be the end of the Sand King. Jakiro looking for the deny, but beautiful shackles from OK. He denies the deny. Nicely done, but Razor on the high ground. Breathe Fire, and oh, daddy. They turn it around and make it a twofer.
Yeah, nice secure by the Shadow Shaman by preventing the deny, but in staying there, they get just clobbered by that magical AoE damage. Plasma Field at max range and Dragon's Breath, or Breathe Fire rather, are two of the more powerful nukes. And in this case, it's just going to be an easy pick for them, and probably the tower as well. They've got the Aquila on, they got the rank 3 Liquid Fire, just delaying that, and look, the Living Armor doesn't even do anything at this point. It's only level 2, and more importantly, they just have so many creeps and the Liquid Fire on it. It's not a good way to deal with a bunch of hard pressure on a tower. It's a very soft sustain mechanism, and it's just not going to work here.
Top tower is under
yeah,
attack.
no, you're absolutely right about it. IAP have more than enough abilities to cut through it, and not only on towers, but all the poison from Viper and even the Liquid Fire on heroes. Living Armor is, I hesitate to say, going to be a non-factor this game, but it certainly won't be a very discerning factor, to say the least. The only good thing for Invasion about that tower falling is FCFZ did have some space to farm. Now at 25 CS, he has Phase Boots, his Magic Wand has level 7, and about 800 gold in the bank. So if he wants to grab a Bracer, maybe start working towards that Trim of Endurance, he will have that luxury. So that is good news on that front, but IAP will pull in the lead now with about a 1,500 gold lead and 500 experience now in their favor.
Yeah. The one issue with Ember Spirit trying to play catch-up is he's not really a flash farming hero. Like, the Flame Guard maxed out helps out a lot, as you see he's clearing out the jungle quite conveniently, but it's still not going to put him back on the map as quickly as many other alternative carries. He's going to TP back, refill in full, and he's actually going to go for a bottle here. You can't sell that back after you use it, so this is his to keep, and it is, well, I mean, you can, but at half value. Anyways, but that just means that he is going to be mostly staying on the back line. He is going to have no raw tank ability.
Mid lane, Fox takes a Doom ulti and a Crypt Swarm. That'll be enough to bring him down. It is Ghost that gets credit for that kill as he falls to the Wrath of Time, and Invasion get another one up on the scoreboard. So they're right there with the response, and they are staying active, but IAP still sitting pretty and feeling to be in a pretty good shape. Razor will not rush a mech here. He will go for the Drum of Endurance, and it is actually Fox who is the mech carrier. Has the 2 core pieces, but still waiting on the recipe. Quite a few potential mech carriers here for this Dire side. Really, anyone but the Sand King, I think I've seen get a mech pretty frequently. So it will be the Viper best suited for it, and not the best timing, honestly. 11 minutes, still about a third of the way through the recipe. It will delay the potential skirmish power of the Dire team here.
Yeah, he did get set back by a couple of deaths in a row, and he did go for the treads first and so on. So it's not going to work out in the timing that they want it to. I also don't think it works very well in terms of Doom targets. Razor and Dragonite are actually really bad Doom targets once they've gotten a spell or two off. Once they cast their ultimates, for example, they don't really have much that's going to be taken out by Doom. So the Viper, on the other hand, at least he has that passive you negate, and in this case, they're also going to be preventing Mechanism. This means Viper is Doom priority number 1, and everybody else is just going to be dropped down quickly by the magical nukes. So, yeah, I don't like that particular decision, but they're still in a position in the game where it might not make too much of an impact unless the fights get really heated. Right now, Emma Stone's making his way towards his Blink Dagger. They did lose 1, but it forced out the Exorcism as well as the Mass Serpent Wards. 2 big ultimates for 1 single tower.
Yeah, it feels like overkill as well, as IAP didn't force the issue. I feel more often than not, you'll want to use one, judge how the other team reacts, and if necessary, commit the other to the team fight and hope for the tower kill. But, yeah, maybe just not the most efficient use of the cooldowns. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, though, team fight will break out as the Doom ulti comes onto the Razor at Macro Pyre in a beautiful position. Emma Stone with a huge ultimate secures the kill on the tree, but more importantly, zones out the rest of Invasion. Makes it easy to isolate the tree. Emma Stone will eventually fall, but now Dragonite comes in, grabs the kill on the Ember Spirit as he gets locked down, and the Macro Pyre just completely cutting that fight in half. Beautifully done.
Yeah, absolutely. Now they can just turn this into a hardcore push. There's no cooldowns on invasion. They can't prevent this from happening. The Doom will be coming up in like 70 seconds, but that's only going to be enough to hold on to the tier 2s, not the tier 1s, which are already being under siege from the corrosive, soon to be the liquid fire, and fortify is the only thing that's holding it. They still have 2 waiting in the wings, but without an overgrowth, like, I really don't think this is going to work out for them. The Death Prophet doesn't even have mana.
Yeah. And you see that living armor just ticked off by the dots alone. They weren't even pressuring the tower before the living armor got destroyed. Double damage up on the DK. They will commit to a fight here. Shackle onto the DK himself. Looks like he will be the first one to fall. Razor around the backside going for the Treant. And, well, he will get caught inside the ward. So at least there's a small recovery here for Invasion. They get a 1-for-2 trade, but they do lose their last tier 1 tower.
Yeah, the only good aspect of that is that both of those were IAP's core heroes. Fox is... Like you said, he's not as far ahead as he was as we previously saw, but now they can go right back in. Emma Stone will drop down, the unnecessary macro fire flying about, but yeah, in general, they're in a good position to just kind of take exchanges, take gold off the map, and give Ember Spirit less and less room to farm. The jungle is now under contest from IAP. They've got Blink Initiation, and FCFC is going to have just a really hard time.
Yeah, that's a big kill right there, as it did secure Emma Stone's Blink Dagger, and now they have that long-range initiation power that you were talking about. It makes for easier follow-ups. Macro Pyre may be unnecessary there, but hey, it's a pretty short cooldown, only 60 seconds, so Kimo will probably have it up following this next team fight here. IAP rotate towards the mid lane. They will have the Elder Dragon form up in just a moment, and he does hit level 11, so... They smoke in the tree line, and they're ready to initiate. There's a Blink Burrow Strike right onto Ketchik. Takes a Dragon Tail into the Ice Path. A lot of crowd controls, but do they have the damage to bring him down? Dual Breath might be enough to tick him down.
Those dots.
Now, okay. Yep, those dots. Oh, almost non-lethal. Whoa. The Dragon Knight dot is non-lethal, but there was just one more tick left of that Dual Breath, and that brings him down in mass DCs. Oh, my Lanta.
Not a great time for it, but at least they're not like under the tower right now. They did fall back just a little bit after that, but yeah, I guess since we have the pause, we have the disconnection issues, probably something that happened at the LAN cafe that they're at. We can actually take a look at the combat log against that Death Prophet and actually just look how close she was. She was the target, taking a lot of random clicks, and yeah, the Dual Breath ticked her down to 1 HP, and it was the Urn of Shadows, the very last tick of Urn of Shadows that tipped her over. Literally 1 HP, but Urn too strong.
Wow. Wow, so close, yeah. All of those dots are lethal except the Corrosive Breath, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes, okay. So, yeah, that's the only one, and that was one of the last dots ticking aside from that one last Urn Shard. So it doesn't really get much closer than that, and looks like we will have some reconnects and another DC here from Jakiro. So they are going to sit back and get their connection issues sorted out. Invasion, obviously, very eager to get back into it, but they will have to be a bit patient here. This tier 2 tower in the mid lane, though, in some trouble. Ketchik falls, and he did have an ultimate available, and that's one of their big defensive tools. Rasta wards are on cooldown for another 30 seconds, so I don't know that they really have much in their arsenal to defend this. There is a Doom ulti, but I don't see a lot of potential follow-up damage here to secure the kills.
Unfortunately not. The mechanism is still available for... actually, he just recently used it for the Viper, so that's why they're all topped off right now. But even still, Jay just committed the Elder Dragon form ultimate. He's going to be bringing down this tower pretty quickly. Also gets some nice splash damage out of that. The tree is still not level 6, and even if he rotates it just a second, he still won't be able to cast an ultimate. It's hard to get mana to sustain that ulti, and now he can't even find the levels to have the option to. In the back end, we do have the Blink Sand King, who just going to go right in on Ghost, but that has to be carefully done. The Dragon Tail needs to follow through to finish it off, or just the dots. So much damage over time to counter this Treant's living armor, and wow, they just evaporate their target. They can go for Rosh now. They can pretty much do whatever the hell they want.
This is pretty disgusting. The double dragons plus the Viper, so many dots. It's just, the damage over time is ridiculous. I was under the same impression, like, I don't know, might need another stun to bring down the Doom, but they know their limits, and they had more than enough damage as he fell with still quite a few dots still live on his person. They'll just go right into the Rosh pit. They have a Medallion of Courage here, so Rosh should fall pretty quickly, and with Doom dead, Invasion are just not in a position to contest this. They also have no map control. Looking at the ward scenario, there is not a single Radiant observer down on the map, so they have absolutely no clue that they're in the Rosh pit. and really don't have much vision outside of that. They'll stay turtled up, they'll sit in the well, and they seem pretty intimidated right now, as they well should be. Dragon Knight does grab the Aegis of the Immortal, and IAP will just rotate back to safety.
Yeah. One aspect of this is that Doom is one of the better heroes to survive against all this magic damage over time. Like, it is the max, or 2 points in the poison attack, and it is, like, obviously the Curse of Breath and the big liquid fire that's taking him down, but his weakness is usually physical damage. The fact that he has 1250 HP without a single strength item just is a very fair point of expressing why, or fair way of expressing how difficult it should be to bring him down through magic. But these damage over times are just stacked up so hard, the Treant's so useless, and they're just committing ultimates where they can to get every tiny foothold in this game. But it's not bringing FCFC to his next tier of items. He's still running on drone phase, and I honestly think the IAP are in a really good position this game.
Yep. Absolutely, and this is another situation where it seems like this DP ulti is used a little hastily. It will expire partway through this fight. Doom ulti comes out onto Fox. Kimmo does get initiated upon, will be the first to fall as the roster wards come down. Macropyre will help repel them for now, and sure, they commit the roster wards, but they'll just get cleaned up by the Razor. Glyph comes out, and this tower will stay standing, and Invasion, I think, with some questionable ultimate usages there. They didn't really need the DP ulti to finish off that first tower. Again, you can start to commit to the tower, gauge your opponent's reaction, and then commit ultimates accordingly. If they had saved the ulti and committed it for the tier 2 tower, they would have been able to do more damage and then commit to that team fight instead of being forced to back out knowing the exorcism was just moments from expiration.
Yeah. We are going to be seeing the Dragon Knight go for the BKB here. It's obviously a very core item on this particular hero, but as far as this particular matchup, there are weaknesses to it. Obviously, there are still disables that go right through. The Doom, the Exorcism damage will go through, and the Overgrowth will lock you down. But if he times it carefully, he can actually use it to dispel Overgrowth, and as well, he's one of the few heroes that just doesn't care about physical output. He's the opposite side of Doom, where Doom is really susceptible to physical and not so much on the magical side. The Dragon's Blood makes DK very vulnerable to magic. So he pops the BKB, he's essentially immortal for that 10-second frame, and then he has the second life as he needs it. So they're going to use this to kind of deathball forward, push in, and with all these abilities on cooldown, every single ultimate other than Overgrowth committed there, they are going to be able to just take out pretty much every outer tier tower they desire.
Yeah, and there's only 2 more standing, a tier 2 in the top and a tier 2 in the bottom. They will set their sights on this top tower. Jakiro, the only one not with them. He gets pinged out by the Radiant side, who did drop a ward on their retreat. So they do have a little bit of vision now. Lane ward in the top and vision in the jungle. Jakiro may get jumped upon here. FCFC on the high ground, looking for a solo kill. But even if they get this kill on Jakiro, they've already lost this tier 2 tower, and they won't find anything. Twin-headed dragon survives. Emma Stone gets pinged out, but we'll be able to blink back to safety as well.
So from this point forward, we do see the Hand of Midas kind of being evened out as far as the advantages and disadvantages from Doom and from Dragon Knight. But I think the gold density right now is even more relevant on the DK. He's going to be approaching like a critical mass, 5 or 6 slotted, potential to just go in and shrug off everything that Invasion bring to it. Cool little pose there with the pause in mid lane. But yeah, other than that, like the Doom, like what is he going to really be able to get out of this Devour and Midas? He might be able to get some good auras. We see sometimes the Shivas into Refresher Orb. Like that's great, but those are long-term goals. Right now we're 18.5 minutes in and they have 1 tower outside their base standing. They don't have any control of the map in terms of Roshan. They have 1 good plateau ward, as you mentioned. There's also a pretty active lane ward, but we probably aren't going to see many heroes rotating in that area in general, as they're just so far on the aggression.
Yes, sir. And it looks like, all right, just another little hiccup here, and they will resume. So, yeah, there you have it. But, yeah, Doom's farm a little lackluster right now. Picked up the Blink Dagger, and it's Blink First is pretty standard stuff on Doom with this kind of a build here after the Hand of Midas. That long-range initiation, but he still isn't really packing that punch. And as we've pointed out a few times now, he's a normally tanky hero that seems very susceptible to all this damage. And IAP, they will spend no time delaying, and they'll just group up and set their sights down towards that last outer tier 2 tower. The Razor will spend some time in the jungle here, just stacking up both camps at once, or at least trying to. Will not find the stack on the the medium camp there, but we'll be able to stack up this hard camp as he goes right back to farming. Very close to his BKB. It does have the 2 core pieces, and just waiting on that recipe.
So we're gonna see Razor go for the BKB
Actually,
as
has it?
well. Looks like Viper wants to prioritize the
Yep.
Aghanim Scepter, but like, what do you think Invasion could do to try to nullify the threat coming out? Like right now, it's gonna be two 10-second BKBs marching on the front door. Is it? You said the ulti usage before, but do you think that would even fix their current state of affairs?
I don't know. I want to say no. I feel like the biggest problem for Invasion is just the way they've been utilizing their cooldowns. Seen a few multiple times now where they have these big pushing ultis and they've been committing them willy-nilly for these tier 1 towers, and they need that momentum from being able to take out the other towers just to turn things around. They will find a kill up in the top lane on the Razor. It is DP that gets the kill, and we'll move into another pause here. So steps in the right direction, but smoke rotations and kind of guerrilla warfare like that as best they can is the step in the right direction. But I think a mech is also something they're sorely lacking that is making a pretty big difference in these team fights as well when Viper doesn't get doomed.
Yeah, very true. So that's it could be something that they could have on the other side, but yeah, this pickup on Razor's still pretty huge. I mean, he did have no kill streak, but delaying that BKB a little bit more, getting some pressure
He
out
actually has the
off the map.
recipe hiding on the courier.
Oh, okay, I didn't check that. So they're
Yeah,
they're gonna be
I
able to
had
disengage.
yep. Yeah. So all right, we
Very
will
good.
resume here. Somebody's angry about something.
The rage emoticons, it's just pretty silly here. I think that's messing with both of us. Is all these pauses come through and just kind of break up the games. It's hard for the players, a little bit hard for us to keep the flow moving, just because it's so awkward. But it is the connectivity from the Philippine side, and yeah, it's not known to be the best. So, and maybe that's a bit of an understatement.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So Jakiro pretty close to level 11, so he'll have Macro Pyre coming online. And, you know, last we casted a twin-headed dragon together, Blaze. I commented on a 0 Ice Path build, and he went all Dual Breath and all Liquid Fire. And you were talking about the glories of how well Dual Breath scales. And, well, Kimo here doing the complete opposite. A value point in the Dual Breath, but is opting to prioritize that Ice Path, secondary to Liquid Fire.
Yep, and that's the difference between a solo mid build and a support build. When you don't get as much experience, the dual breath damage, it's good, but it doesn't matter as much as how much you can impact the fight with a long duration disable. So Chemo with the max ice path gets 2.2 seconds of stun that will synergize well when the sinking lens up a burrow, and yeah, it is pretty well set up by abilities such as that. So I think it's
Yeah,
much
that's
more
true.
valuable in this case compared to in the solo mid where you're trying to play like a Queen of Pain, get as much damage out on the battlefield as quickly as possible, and really just ramp up the fact that you have the level advantage.
And to complement that, now Dragon Knight has also picked up a Blink Dagger following his BKB. So even outside of the Elder Dragon form, Dragon Tail initiations are a complete possibility for him, which means easy ice paths to follow up with that long duration Dragon Tail stun. Pretty easy to get an ice path that is on the money there. So I definitely agree with you on that front. Aegis of the Immortal will expire, but that's okay. AIP, or oh my, IAP, still hungry for team fights here. Looks like that BKB has been complete on Razor. 10 seconds still ready to rock and roll, and Viper not quite at the Ags, but has the two tanky pieces, the Ogre Club and the Point Booster, and he is getting pretty durable, about 1,500 HP up on him. So they will continue to sit back and farm, and not sure exactly what IAP are waiting for. They did such a good job tightening the noose around Invasion, but sitting back and letting them farm is giving Invasion a little bit of the space they need to slowly claw their way back into this game.
They're gonna push out one more wave, maybe. No, just smoke right now is essentially what they're gonna do. They don't, the hero is just barely in the radius, but they're gonna go out and try to find a pick off. They know FCFC is farming in that general area, and they consider trying to suppress him, but instead make their move towards what is perhaps an easier kill. A lot of times when you're farming the Radiant jungle, you're close enough to home that you don't have a TP or you don't expect to react with a full disengage, and kind of taking the fight to them might be better because you can also follow it up with that tier 2 tower push on bottom. In the end, they kind of wish-wash between the two options. They end up going up top where there are absolutely no heroes, and it looks like they're going to get nothing out of the smoke.
Yep, it will expire, and Invasion just in a very defensive posture. They know all five are missing off the map, and they're assuming that they'll be pressuring this bottom tier too. They'll venture about their jungle and clear it out. Also, maybe anticipating IAP popping out of a smoke, but they reveal at least a couple of their heroes in the top lane, and there's just an odd movement right now where both teams are misinterpreting the other's actions, and big team fight or big five-man bundles on complete opposite sectors of the map. But once again, we'll see IAP group up, throw out a smoke, and now they'll rotate down bottom.
Yeah, if you actually look at the ward placement and consider what they saw, where they know that IAP used to be, they have to consider that the smoke is coming because there's no way that they decided to just hang out in the jungle for 2 minutes straight. They're making their way here, and we'll see how prepped Invasion are for it. For now, the smoke stays active. They'll do a bit of a wraparound here, and I actually even try to go for an aggressive blink on through just to engage on it as quickly as possible. Another pause, maybe some more lag, but yeah, in this position. Invasion were very privy to the forthcoming assault, and they do drop down some wards now to try to react as best as possible.
Yeah, and looking at the vision, I don't think Radiant have too much confirmation. Their smoke expired basically right as they walked out of ward vision, and now Mr. DK will walk into the creep wave, so they will reveal it. The jig is up, and after all of those funky rotations, it looks like IAP will just commit to a bottom tier 2 tower push after all.
Yeah, that's kind of what they have to do. I mean, the death ball is not bad in this situation. It's not perfect, but it'll work fine. You just have to time it so that you can disengage whenever the mass serpent wards come down under tower, because you don't want to fight against essentially what's offensively essentially 2 turrets. So we'll see that push actually come out from Invasion in the mid lane, and they're actually trying to make something happen here. Gonna drop down the mass serpent wards, and this is gonna be IAP to go for the epi.
Yep, Emma Stone will start things off right onto Ketchik Imba. He will get off the Yules and gets a living armor. There's the overgrowth coming from the tree, but BKB popped by the DK. They will continue to press forward. It will be a dead Death Prophet before she can use the ult. Razor gets doomed, but he does not seem to care all too much. ADTR will get caught out. Do they have the vision? No, they don't need it. They'll be able to bring him down. The gem gets picked up. He was the carrier, and now it is in the inventory of Sand King. A 2-for-0 exchange, and the tower stays standing. Dire Side didn't even have to glyph it. They just clear out the Rasta wards, and it's a very successful hold as they rotate down bottom to do a little bit of pushing of their own.
Yeah, I may have sounded a little bit confused when I announced that Invasion were pushing mid because it doesn't make any sense in my mind whatsoever. Maybe trying to get them to draw back away from SCFC's territory. He finally finishes up the BKB, and that's all well and good. But yeah, dropping a Doom on a BKB'd Razor in a fight that wasn't even happening, like, it just doesn't seem like a smart play. We're going to see them push in. Elder Dragon form and BKB is coming up in about 30 seconds time, and they're going to take this tier 2 tower without it. No problem at all.
Yeah, now one good thing for Evasion is they still have the DP ulti up, and there is a BKB on the Ember Spirit. He'll pop the Magic Immunity, go straight in, silence from the DP. Emma Stone connects with a stun, but IAP will be repelled here, it looks like. Another Overgrowth comes out, that'll lock him in place. Now the Exorcism can go to work. It'll be a dead Sand King and Dragon Knight to get things started. And now the Razor, taking a lot of damage, will stand his ground and at least find a kill on the Treant as well as the Doom. It is a 2-for-3 trade, a decent hold from Invasion. There's a gem just hanging out on the ground, and Fox will be forced back. He gets caught in the Searing Chains, and Invasion will get their gem back. So that swing of momentum that IAP had will go right back the other way as Invasion make a hold and take a successful team fight with a 2-for-4 exchange.
A really good hold there. A lot of damage put into the Dragon Knight very early in the fight. He barely got mech forced out of there in the first place, and yeah, he just didn't get to really show his big red dragon off. So in that case, he is going to be kind of just transitioning back into farming, using Midas, finishing up the AC, because he is actually relatively squishy. If he doesn't get the chance to use his BKB, doesn't get to turn and fight, then they are just kind of going purely on the defensive. So we did see a couple kills in turn, like the Razor got a couple on the back end of that, but all in all, Invasion getting the hold they needed and pulling back ahead in the kill count.
Yeah, and also showing us there how crucial the Sand King is in terms of damage outputting. We'll now have a level 2 epicenter, but it was stuck on cooldown for the duration of that fight. And if they had had a big epi there, could have been a completely different story. Maybe would have been a different story is a better way to put it. But alas, IAP will group up around the Rosh pit. He has respawned, and they may be looking to abuse this dire advantage once more.
Yeah, Red Dragon form is used to farm Ancients, though, so even though he's level 16, Jay is not really at his peak potential. They really want to get this Aegis and the AC all at once and kind of use that to collaborate a big push. And they know Invasion can't naturally jump in. They have to be very cautious about how they approach it, but we saw some good War Stomps come out from the Doom already. He still has that Sendar creep, has the Shivas as well, and it looks like they want to go.
Yes, indeed. They will go forward looking for Emma Stone, but will get off a nice Sandstorm to juke things out. Ghost now gets caught by a stun. BKB's popped aplenty. The Macro Pyre right in the middle of the fray. And, well, it looks like the Dire Side is the team that's starting to fall behind. A buyback on the Sand King as they take an early tumble. They will be able to find another kill on the Razor as he gets left behind. A double kill comes out for Ketchik Imba. Oh, man, this is disastrous for IAP. Now Rosh looks like it will go the way of the Radiant. A big epi coming in.
Snatch.
Rosh does fall to the Radiant side. Aegis gets snatched by the DK. Very nicely done. An ultra kill now for Ketchik Imba. Procs the Aegis straight away. He will have Exorcism expiring just about now. But the Dragon Knight, not too many options here. Doom comes back in, and it looks like he will fall for a second time. Now the Razor coming back in, and oh boy, what is the plan here? It's going to be a dieback for him. 2 buybacks and 2 diebacks as Invasion keep all 5 alive, get 7 kills, and the last hit on Rosh. Wow, what a swing of momentum.
Pretty huge. The Razor wanted to try to clean up anybody that was low HP. The Doom dropped down to like barely, almost single digits. Like he was down to about 20 HP with that plasma field. The Shadow Shaman got dropped down pretty low as well, but neither one falling. Razor dying and just feeding his life away. The Dragon Knight, even though it did cost him obviously quite dearly, he's very far from his AC now. The fact is, taking the Aegis off the field and making sure that either the Death Prophet or more likely the Ember Spirit doesn't have it is absolutely huge. So the snatch is still very well worth it, but that Razor Death on top of it, maybe not so much. So that was pretty huge from Invasion. Pinning down, again, you were talking about the Sand King's damage output, and the fact that Doom just jumped right on top of Emma Stone, and RR just could not get off any big cooldowns up against that big monster. He bought back too, but that Epicenter just came out a little bit too late.
Yep, and now even the Viper was so close to his Ag Scepter, and he will get knocked right back down. Unless he has that piece on the Courier, never mind. Strike it from the record again, Blaze. He'll have that Ag Scepter complete, so that is good news for him. But Invasion was so much momentum. Just look at the graph. It was basically a 7,000 gold swing there. A 4K deficit now into a 3K boost, and about a 12,000 experience edge. They will get that top tier 2 tower kill, and that will take the tower count to only a 1 tower advantage for our Dire team. Now they have the DP ultimate available, Rasta wards as well, and Invasion are really using these cooldowns a lot more effectively. They go straight for the high ground. Okay, gets caught in the Ice Path as well as the Macro Pyre. He'll be the first one to go down, but still a lot of damage output onto the Dire side. Razor completely repelled from the Doom ulti. Dragon Knight repelled as well, and we'll have to walk all the way back around. Now Viper gets dropped, manages to get off the mech, but still goes down. DK hops forward. There's your Epicenter coming out. Huge damage onto the Radiant side. DP, Ember Spirit, and now Ghost will take a tumble. Damage onto this tier 3 tower will be significant, but creeps get cleaned up and backdoor protection kicks in. And that will keep the tower alive as the wards get cleaned up.
Jeez, this is such a back and forth game. Very dynamic between the two sides, just taking fights, and whoever seems to be initiating on the objective is the one that is seemingly falling behind. But it's on the back of a really good Epicenter coming out from the Sand King, and they're able to rebound here. That Death Prophet kill is pretty huge because that Ultra kill adds up to a full Wicked 6 streak going the way of the Sand King. So we got a bonus 1,000 gold, and he's going to have a 4 staff out in a very short span of time. The AC on the Dragon Knight also finished up. They're trying to pursue into Treant, blink on Troll or Jay in just 1 second, but OK's going to hex him up, and he's actually going to get stunned out. Nature's Guy is not enough to keep him up, and they are going to look to try to push in mid here.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. Both sides, it seems one is up against the ropes, and then it flip-flops the other way around. There are a couple of buybacks potentially available here, but the respawn timers are so short, they'll try and save it. The problem is the Glyph is the only thing standing between this tier 3 tower and death. Living Armor will come out and get chewed through right away. Tower falls, and now the racks are fair game. Ember Spirit pressing forward. All 3 remnants in. He has no more escape mechanism. Treant is the first to go down, but a lot of damage out onto Emma Stone. He'll be the second to fall. Macro Pyre doing a lot of damage to Ghost, but he will tank it up for now. Mech popped by the Viper there, and that's what I'm looking for. They'll go right on into the melee barracks. And it looks like Invasion just won't be able to make the hold. The Exorcism just now coming up. They will pop it, but melee racks have already gone down. Trollolol. He'll get caught by a Yules as well as a Doom, and as he comes back down to planet Earth, he will fall. And IAP ultimately will be repelled, but not before doing a lot of damage. Chemo will get left behind and doing what he can, connects to the nice ice path, but nowhere for the twin-headed dragon to go, and he will get picked off. 3 heroes fall as Invasion goes straight up the mid lane. Now they'll press forward. They find a kill on the Viper, and Razor in big trouble. IAP could get completely wiped up here, and maybe Invasion will be the ones to grab racks. Dire side have no buybacks available except for that of the Dragon Knight.
Yeah, that was quite a leisurely retreat from IAP. They left people behind over and over, trying to help each other out a little, and in the end, they almost lose more. The Epicenter is going to come out from Emma Stone, though, and he's going to go right on top of Ghost. Will it be enough to bring it down? The silence comes through, but there's the DK buyback.
and DK will secure that kill. Now, how aggressive will they get? It's Invasion on the back foot. They get the tier 2 tower kill. And Emma Stone connects with a stun on 2. Okay. Will not fall to the plasma field because of that living armor, but auto attacks from the DK will be enough to bring him down. Now Treant goes in, connects with the overgrowth, silence on the DP, enough to bring down the Emma Stone. And Treant falls in return. Now Ember Spirit in some trouble. He will buy himself some time, but IAP again, the victors. There's only one lone survivor, and it's Ketchik Imba. He's in race car mode right now, so he will survive, cruising around at close to max movement speed, but the base will be fair game once more.
Yeah, that was really good movement for the Sand King, getting those stun follow-ups. The buyback decision from the Dragonite was huge, and they just turned things around. Ultra kill going the way of Jay, and man, what a monster now. And this big blue dragon with the AC going up the high ground, still has that several seconds left on this one. The Doom is back up though, and although Razor and Dragonite again aren't great Doom targets, they still are low HP, and just trying to finish them off before they can sustain through it. That's huge. Now going in on Ketchik Imba. Can they burst him down in time? He's got the self-heals. He should be fine.
Yep, has the ultimate as well, will pop it. There, the roster wards coming down, completely trapped inside the Dragonite, and that'll be the end of his dominating streak. Now the rest of the fight will continue as IAP back out. They get the tier 3 tower, but the bottom lane of Rax stay standing, and this time they won't get completely cleaned up on the retreat. They lose the Dragonite and Viper still down, but it looks like Invasion will not be able to run straight up the mid lane as they did in the last fights, or will they? Ketchik Imba with his ult about to expire. Will not be easy to press forward. DP now has a heart and an ultimate orb with another 3,200 gold, so he is still very farmed and will continue to tank up. There's your Ag Scepter on the Razor, so pushing even more potent for the dire side. Emma Stone almost left behind, but will be able to burrow strike to the high ground. Now with DK down, they know he bought back. It looks like Invasion will just go straight for the counter push once more.
But this is where Emma Stone shines. RR's got his 4-staff now, and he is ready to go for that big epicenter. It's still level 2, but it's been showing how much it can do in this fight, and still without any mech, it could be huge.
Searing Chains and Doom put on top of the Razor, though he managed to get the BKB off. Not the best usage of that Doom ulti, but it will put Razor in sort of a sticky situation. There's the follow-up from Treant. He'll get 4-stab back. Nice stun from Emma Stone, but Razor will not survive. Now IAP in a little bit of trouble here.
Oh, and the silence on the Sand King. He didn't get the epicenter off.
No. Oh, no. Now the gems on the ground. Fox and Chemo caught in the chains, completely isolated. DK will be back up, but it is a 5v3 on the field. Viper Strike comes out onto Ketchik. For now, Invasion will back out. IAP thinking about getting aggressive here. There is now a Hex Stick up on the DP, and they will try to initiate. It's a fake back coming from Invasion. Will IAP fall for it, though? Okay. Blinks forward, gets the Hex off, but there is a 4-staff there to follow up. Now Doom hops forward. No ultimate available on him, but they want this fight. Now DP's ultimate ready, and the roster wards will completely lock into Jakiro. Beautiful positioning as well as to be able to move into the tower. Trollo low gets isolated. He will fall. No buyback available for him. He's down for 80 seconds. It looks like Invasion may be the ones to come out ahead once more. No glyph for the dire side. Tier 3 tower in the mid falls. Mid lane of Rax will most certainly go down. They ping out the top lane, and that's where they'll be heading. It's a 5v2 on the field, and the Sand King Viper just can't do anything. No epi available. Emma Stone at best could run in and stun, but it would probably be at the cost of his life. Okay, blinks forward, turns him into a chicken. Fox laying in the right clicks, but Shackles come out. Now Razor back in the fray. They find the kill on the Shadow Shaman, but damage has been done. Mid lane of Rax will fall to level it out. Top lane will stay standing. Viper Strike out on the Ghost. Will he be able to survive this? He's damn tanky. A lot of armor on him, but it's just not enough. Razor taking it all away, and Ghost will take a fall. FCFC on the run. Emma Stone in hot pursuit, but no Blink Dagger available. They will be forced back, and they do keep the melee Rax standing, but just barely.
Yeah, but they just lost heavily there. IAP were looking for the defense, but RR didn't smoke his epi. He just went in with a vision enough, and they were able to get the max range silence off on it. With the epicenter taken out, it doesn't matter that they lost the Doom on essentially a useless target, the Razor there, who was BKB'd up, because they're forcing up BKB cooldowns. They're preventing the real AoE damage from coming forth by either sidestepping the macro pyre or, in this case, preventing the epicenter entirely. So the melee Rax down to 10 HP. One more right click from the Illusions of the Death Prophet will actually snipe it, despite the attempts of IAP to hold it, and that's 3 racks down for them. They seem to have taken a huge victory in the mid, but they kept on throwing their lives away at structural damage, and the end result is a lot of buybacks expended. Now Sand King getting picked off by Ketchik Imba, and My goodness, this is just going from bad to worse as Invasion just show how dominant their late game draft is.
Yeah, absolutely. Even the Ember Spirit, the hero that got completely shut down, has made pretty much a full recovery. A very atypical build, but BKB into the Scotty. So now he's tanked up, 2,500 HP on him, and of course he will have that nice utility of the slow. IAP move into the Rosh pit, but they will get contested. FCFC scouts it out, sees they aren't in the pit. He will get living armor as he is in the front lines. Needs to be a little careful. It's his third Rosh, so it's very important. In comes Ketchikimba. There's the tree overgrowth as well. Macropyre in the middle of the fray, but it looks like Invasion have the damage here. Shadow Shaman will be the first to go down, but here's the big-time initiation. Doom out on Fox. Dragon Knight's already gone down, and IAP get completely cleaned up. This will be a Rosh going the way of Invasion. It's just the Jakiro that survives, and they don't even want the Rosh. They go straight for the base. They want to end this one now. There is a glyph available for the Dire side. Looking at the buyback scenario, it is sticky. There is one available on the DK, and he may be forced to burn it here.
Yeah,
Ultimate from Ketchik will expire. Roster wards, well, no, he's dead, so it doesn't really matter. But Emma Stone, there we go, pressing forward. And I want to say a lot of damage, but feels a little lackluster. Enough to finish off the Doom. Now the buyback from the Dragon Knight. He'll TP to the tower. And once again, Invasion will get repelled. Even the Razor buys back, but Invasion already on the retreat. If they don't find some kills here, these will be two buybacks that don't yield much in the way of dividends. And although they make the hold now, it is a costly one.
Yeah, the Treant Protector just invises out. They don't have the detection for it. Chemo didn't even use his Veiled Discord, so there really wasn't much damage coming out from the Sand King. They want to prevent this Roshan. It is a cheese Rosh, so they're going to buy back on the Doom, but he's not going to be quick enough to get to it. Even with the smoke, even with the blink, it's already gone. They have enough right-click damage here, and it should be going down very quickly. Emma Stone trying to pick up Ketchikimba. Will it be a distraction enough? They're putting a lot of damage into him, but the reinforcements are coming.
They might be able to contest this Rosh in time, falling very quickly. Here's the big plays from the Ember Spirit. It will go down to the Dire, picked up by the Dragon Knight. It is successful for the Dire side. Cheese is still on the ground. Treant does ping it out. A lot of damage coming onto the Dire. They just don't seem to have the sustainability. The Ember Spirit doing too much damage in this small proximity. Jakiro makes it to the high ground, but IAP get essentially cleaned up. Fox is still alive, but he's getting clicked down, looking for the kill on Ketchik. Dragon Knight will come back to life, compliments of the Aegis of the Immortal, throws out the stun onto Ketchik, and off to the side here, we will see the Treant chasing down the Jakiro. It's a 2-on-2 in the pit. Ketchik has another ultimate cooling down. Now the Viper's down. It's a 2-on-1. The Dragon Knight will stand his ground, and he will fall. IAP in big trouble, and that's it. They'll just tap out. No buybacks, no more tricks up their sleeve. And it is Invasion that cleaned it up. The Tier 4 towers have already gone down, and they can just go straight for the throne. What a back-and-forth match. But at the end of the day, it is the Radiant side, Team Invasion, that do the dirty and take it 44-30.
Yeah, that was an absolutely incredible game coming out from these two teams, just showing what SA Dota's all about. And there were some confusing plays. A lot of the Doom targets were a little bit awkward, but that's kind of part of the draft. They picked up the Doom early, so a lot of IAP targets were not ideal. Along with that, there were some plays where they just essentially threw lives away that they didn't need to. Invasion in the mid lane tier 2 push and Execration on the bottom tier 3. So I'm getting a little bit of Game of Thrones from both sides, but no matter the case, it was very, very fun to watch. Very dynamic team fights, a lot of activity across the sides. And yeah, like you said, Ember didn't go for the standard build. He wasn't doing any cleave damage in those fights, but he just needed to live. He kept on getting stunned out by Burrow Strikes and the Dragon Tails and stuff like that, so nullifying that with Scotty BKB and letting the others do the work. It was really Ketchikimba to put the team on his back, and he really was the player this time around. 23-19. Death Prophet, everyone.
Yeah, that's pretty damn impressive. Of course, you do pretty easy to rack up those assists with the big AoE ultimate, but still being involved in 39 of the 44 kills, just showing how active he was around the map. But that does wrap up our SEA coverage today. I'm Zayori, joined once again by Blaze. You can follow us both on Twitter at ZayoriTV and at Blaze Casting, found in the title of this broadcast, and of course at Beyond the Summit as well. That wraps up our coverage today. Starladder EU begins in just about 30 minutes. It will be Helium Umbrella doing the casting for that today, and he'll be taking helm on the stream. So thank you for joining us here, guys. The first two VODs are already up on YouTube, and this one going up momentarily. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow for more Starladder Season 10 Southeast Asian coverage.